please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. I know Thursdays typically we have an exhibition of stupid people, but we may as well just do it on Chantal, which I guess in and of itself is an exhibition of stupid people because all her poor decisions are, well, all obviously stupid. Although I guess you could just say all her decisions. So, Chantal. Recently, while working on a different video, she had live streamed. Now, rather amusingly, she has changed the thumbnail from this, some news, angle, of course. Yeah, to this, some news, I'm so confused, full stop. Nothing reeks of, look at me, take me cereal, more than changing the thumbnail to try and drum up additional interest, which has actually worked to an extent. You may notice that on this particular thumbnail, 10k views, 21 hours later, it's got 20,000 views. If it's monetized, I guess she's got that money. Was that in tune? No, it wasn't. We're going to be looking at this because Chantal has some news for us, and of course we here take all news from Chantal as serially as we possibly can, with milk and a mountain of sugar. Because like Chantal, we take our health serial and we are dainty. Although of the two of us, one is actually dainty and the other is Chantal. In case you didn't know, Chantal typically doesn't do content like this. She normally does mukbangs, but she hasn't done any videos for about 4 days. Something must have been happening. Contract renewal, you never know. The reason I've played 20 seconds of dead air is because it included the part where Chantal moved the camera to our left, her right, meaning that half her face will not be on camera as much. There was speculation the reason why was because then she could dip out quicker if she needs to laugh about something. I kinda believe it to be true. I also think it's possible she has some of those salts they use to wake people up in hospital just so she can fake tears. I hear that stuff's quite potent and she is used to putting things up her nose after all. Old habits die hard, am I right, Chantal?
I need a drink.
No lie, this is the beginning of her stream. This is what we get for content. Recently, Chantal's been struggling with health problems, while claiming that she is fine, arguing with her audience who point out perhaps she needs to reduce the carbs to help with diabetes, or take diabetes medication. She's actually argued about this by saying that carbs are good, all carbs are, or some nonsense like that. It's quite amusing, to be honest. Because of these issues, that is what I had thought this was about. I'm wrong, because Chantal weighs less now apparently than she did when she left to initially go to Q8. No is the answer to that. Her body is clearly falling apart because gravity is turning her into the Pokemon Grimer. If she keeps going, yes, she will in fact become muck. I should probably skip ahead a little bit because this dead air is doing us no favours. And this is a near 1 hour live stream and I'd like to see what it is Chantal wants to tell us about.
Hello. I'm invisible. Hi everybody. I'm gonna be like off to the side so I can, you know.
Be a loser that thinks they're being quirky? Is this just another reason to make sure your play button's visible?
No, I'm not okay. it's so hard to pretend to not be, like, to be okay. Like, I don't want to show any weakness.
Chantal, this makes very little sense. We know you're not okay because you're Chantal. That obviously means you're not okay. But you deciding not to show weakness is like, well, Boogie not showing us his medical records. It's not some secret. Most of us know what's really wrong. We just need confirmation. Also, this is a fair chunk into your live stream of you saying literally nothing. By the way, I've had to boost her audio to high hell, just so she's vaguely audible. You're intentionally being a pain in the ass. Can you stop, please? Just tell us what's wrong so we can all have a good giggle. Sorry, feel sorry, feel sorry. That's what we're meant to do, right?
To the left. I ordered food because I need comfort. It's so sad, I know, but I don't care right now. I'm moving back home.
Let me guess. Because your health concerns are too much for the Kuwaiti medical care system, because you can't afford it, because your entire life is a sham and you now need to realize you need to live a proper life, but you're going to feign this and say that everything's okay? You may have noticed I've left out one obvious answer, because I've got something to say about it when she says it.
And I'm gonna be on my own. I'm gonna be like single and like we're separating.
Now, of course, if your marriage was real, I would feel sorry for you, but I don't, because your marriage isn't real. I firmly believe the reason you're going back to Canada, to a permanent end no doubt, is because you have exhausted the amount of times you can continually hop across borders to renew your tourist visa. Kuwait is cracking down on people doing this kind of crap, the shenanigans as they were, not the individual shenanigans. No, we won't throw her shade. She's above that. But we will throw Chantal this, because over 18 months, you have committed yourself to a lie of religion. I do not believe for a second you are Muslim. I think you faked that for the sake of this whole charade. And the fakery of a marriage that more than likely cost you more than what you got out of it. I would feel sorry for Salah, but I have no reason to. Willing to participate in this usually involves money of some kind. You never committed to anything to improve your life or yourself. You gave up after a day because when you didn't get what you wanted, you pouted on stream. You shared too much and tried to make it seem like you were removed from it, when the reality is you are always going to be Chantal, one of the avatars of poor decisions. So you going back to Canada seems like the right thing to do, especially at this time of year where it's so hot you're stuck in a building because there's no chance you'll get out. And we saw more recent videos of you out and about, trying to prove that, you get out, where you were clearly struggling and gasping for life to, well, find you some air conditioning, lickety-split.
I don't want to talk about why. Like, I want to respect privacy in that way.
Chantal, you streamed for nearly an hour. You changed the thumbnail on it. You deleted community posts talking about this stream. I don't think you're respecting privacy. I think you're learning the lessons of Amberlynn Reid and trying to stretch this out. So when the time comes and you're in places like Canada, you can start to bees it up in some crappy trash mountain condo again with Pete's, who I've no doubt is waiting with open arms in weeby shirts, dirty ones with holes in, to have you in his arms again so you can make more poor decisions when you've made a little more money again after another crunk stream. I fully expect one of those in the future, after you invariably change your ways and go back to being what you were before, the very best beezer like no one ever was. Dun 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 dun.
And yeah, I wish I could tell you why. It's just relationship stuff.
I think I can help here. Don't worry, Chantal, I've got you. Salah wanted a pay rise as he'd gone from guest star to recurring character. His contract renewal was up because you didn't sign him to a 5-year deal like many others do with 5 seasons, and you weren't making as much money when he did feature in your content. He was getting too much flack from being in your content, and your visa hopping. Yes, things were never going to last forever, or and this is also possible, you're baiting everyone out by stretching this out to make it seem like something's more than it really is, and you'll end up staying there a bit longer because, honestly, why not when fed? As you can tell, I'm a very supportive Cthulhu kid.
Welcome, Slums, Georgina. So, that's it. Thanks, Amber.
I'm kind of curious if you're separating, if you intend to get divorced because you claim you're married, whether you're going to observe the waiting period of 3 months, whether you're going to get an arbiter perhaps. If you have a dowry, are you going to give that back? That's quite common within Islamic marriages. I'm curious whether or not you're going to actually try and push through this. Maybe you'll vlog it as well. Any opportunity to turn a coin, right? You certainly need that if you're going to fly home.
Yeah, it's done. It's like really done. I won't say why, but I have respect for myself, so...
So anyone want to place bets on when Chantal decides to tell everyone why? Because I can imagine that'll be some point in the near future. Unless, of course, the marriage is suddenly restored to its former glory. As far as that last remark goes, no you don't. You were once, after all, a star of OnlyFans. Which, from what I've heard, when detected, your opinion is hereby rejected.
The most tragic thing, I think the thing that, like, hurts me the most about ending something like this is when you think you're living something that you're not.
To be honest, Chantal, we all knew you weren't living some kind of fairy tale life. You willingly forfeited your freedoms and your rights to go live some fairy tale life, a romance that didn't exist. You only did it to get back at Nada and the haters of... That's the only reason why you did this. You live your life vicariously through those that dislike you. If you could have had Nada and continued down that path, you would have. Of course, you would then just be another statistic because he would have carried on harming you. The amount of sympathy anyone wants to feel for you is limited because of your choices. Had you continued on the path you were going on before Nada, I think your career would be fine. But you are so desperate to have anything but the basic vanilla white trash Canadian, so desperate to stick it to everyone else, that you fabricated a marriage, and now you're feigning these emotions. No one buys into this, and they don't buy into it because what you're selling comes across as bait and bollocks. So how long do you think it'll be upon landing in Canada that she'll be bragging about being the world's best starfisher again?
So that's it. That's the news. Just not something meant to be, that's all. That's all I can say. So, I'm better off alone, honestly. I'm better off alone. I have a lot of work to do on myself.
I would say you are better off on your own, but you are somebody that is perpetually in a relationship. If we had to believe for a moment that the relationship with Salah, as it is according to you real, is over, I can imagine you'll find someone to replace quite soon. Or you'll claim to have been messaging them on the side quietly while you actually put out applications to hire a replacement. Somebody gullible enough to willingly put themselves in the line of fire so you can continue to not benefit or help yourself. And you mention helping or improving yourself. You, Chantal, have done everything you can to erode at what health you have left. Whenever an opportunity to help yourself came up, you chose to do the absolute opposite, because you'd rather care about how others see you and continuing the drama than actually seeking to improve yourself. So no one buys that either, because whenever you've tried to lose weight, to try and get things under control, you've given up within a day citing an injury of some kind, because you don't do things properly and you don't take it seriously.
And, you know, I'm like 40 and I have a lot of health issues.
Chantal, you wouldn't have as many health issues if you took your health seriously. I'm 2 years younger than you. The difference between us is astounding. You're closer to 500 pounds, I am closer to 200 pounds. Although I should point out closer, under. Seriously, we're 2 years apart. You've had and earned much more money than me, a lot more money than me. So much more. But what have you done? Snorted it away! And then blew it on visa things. And then tried to live a fake life. You were better off with Trash Mountain behind you. You really were. Because at least then you could afford clothes. And takeaway. And Pete's. Mostly Pete's.
And I just want to be in peace. Like, to deal with things, you know? Without any kind of pressures.
So this would explain why you haven't uploaded a mukbang in 4 days. However, you are, as a creator, a slave for views, therefore you need to be active as a creator. You can try now be a contrarian if you want, but you need the views if your life is changing. Unless, of course, you're going to borrow money from your mother again. By borrow, I mean permanently ask for a loan that's never going to be returned. You may want peace. Unfortunately for you, Chantal, with what you have built over the years, the community that loathe you, many of whom have now just left you, some went to haters, who have in turn left those haters because they can't stand those haters as well. It's just a repetitive cycle of communities created in your honour, but without a single shred of respect or decency. A common theme on the internet. But you are a slave for views regardless, and because of that, you will never know what you think peace is, or privacy, because you've shared far too much over the years.
So... yeah. That's it. That's it.
Clearly that's not it, because you've blown your load within the first 3 minutes of a 50+ minute live stream. There's a lot more left within this, and I have no doubt people would have clipped the high hell, all of this, to get the best bits out of it. Thankfully we don't need all of it. But we are going to go on for a little bit longer, because I need a good laugh. And I can't wait to see the trailer drop for Season 4 of Chantal and Soler! Even though Season 3 was a bit meh. Trilogies usually are, though. The third's never as good as the first and second.
Sorry, I really didn't want to cry. Like, I really didn't want to, but...
Can we be certain those are tears of sorrow and not the sweat that's finding its way out of your hijab? I only say that because your filters are working overtime and they're failing quite magnificently. We've seen some of those in June and July. Your ability to work a filter is quite impressive, and your face is getting even more puffy of late.
I'm going home very soon.
Didn't you sell your Kia? Your shite little Kia that needed to be, well, turned into a cube of metal and tyre? What are you going to live in this time? Are you going to stay with relatives again and then have to find another car to borrow? I'm really curious now to see how this all works out, unless of course you're going to immediately just go back with Salah or find some other gullible guy out there who's willing to be on camera and used and abused while not having to actually make physical contact with you. I'm kind of expecting you to immediately renounce your faith, not that you were ever actually Muslim in the first place, and then go and get absolutely wasted while claiming you're not.
Yeah, please don't insult Salah. It's not anything. Like, it's not anything like he did. It's just, I don't want to, like, insult him. I want to respect, like, our relationship enough that I just want to, it's just not, I just need to be alone, okay? That's it.
So I'm not going to play any more of this because I don't see the point, but I'll link it down below if you want to watch the entire stream. I should point out the live chat is still available, and if you really do want to have a good laugh, read that as it unfolds, because they're kind of on her side? Yeah, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. I'll leave it at that for now. The end of your review is going to be very interesting if the Muslim arc is already over. Oh well, see you tomorrow guys.